feet hip width apart. Soften the knees, tuck the pelvis under. Think about growing nice and tall, length at the back of the neck, crown of head shining to the ceiling, perhaps palms facing forwards just to get that kind of opening on the chest. Find the pelvic floor and pull in. If you can, take 100%, so all the focus is going to be down in the core area. Then transverse abdominals, we tend to hollow that one down to the hips. So pulling those two in, hold 5 seconds and then a slow release. So pulling in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then your slow release. And then again, pulling in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then that slow release. Try not to hold the breath. Last one, pulling in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slow release it so you've got 50%. It's not taking all of your concentration. And then we're just going to go shoulders up to the ears and then shoulders down. Shoulders squeeze and release. And squeeze. So just a nice little shrug and release. Couple more. Just notice when you lift your shoulders that you don't lose your core, your 50%. Quite a nice way just to release any neck pain. So then we're going to go shoulders forwards. So that would be like kind of quite bad posture. And then shoulders back. And you can really turn your palms to face outwards, look up. And then again, chin down. Looking down, shoulders forwards. And then shoulders back, get that nice opening on the chest. Just a couple more like that. And again, notice when you take your shoulders back, you're looking up. Just see if you try not to lose the core muscles. So keep your 50%. Keep the pelvis tucked under. So you can really take your time on this. You can go your own pace. You don't have to go as fast as me, or if you want to go fast, you can. Don't, just go with your pace, your breath. Breathing in left, breathing out, release. Then hands on hips, and we might want to take a slightly wider stride and just take some hip circles. So just gently softening in the knees, just exploring the space. So if you've got any tightness, if you've been sitting down quite a bit today, and then lower back, so you can really kind of take the hips back to the side. You can start kind of getting a little bit bigger, really drop the chest and shoulders into that. So it's almost like a forward fold in there. Baby back bends if you want to. Just exploring the space, again, your pace. So you can really slow this one down. But keep the knees nice and soft. Then coming back up to hip width with the feet. Now this is a bit of a balance exercise. Just explore the space and take the whole body around on circles here. So you're going to go to your toes, the sides of your feet, your heels. So it's almost like you were dizzy and you were kind of, wobbling. Like you've had too much mulled wine or something. But actually just kind of test yourself, like kind of with your body, your weight, take it around the feet and then go back around the other way. So in the heels and the sides of the feet, almost like you're going to tip. And then just bring it round. Kind of using your center to keep your balance. Okay, going to go some side bends. Reach up with one hand and just with the other hand, hold that side that you're stretching. Reaching over, and again, your pace, so you can kind of slow it down if you want. If you feel like you just want to hold, and then just switching over. If you want to hold the stretch for a little bit longer, put another breath in there. Breathing out as you go over. And you can start with your hand down at the hip if you feel like that helps kind of ground the hips down, or if you want to bring it further up, hold the rib cage. Press down through the feet, equal weight all around the feet, toes, heels. particularly as you recenter. Think about pressing down through the feet. Keep working with the pelvic floor. If you can, try not to just lose the hand at the top, you know, try and really stretch right through the fingertips. Keep reaching, keep working on the side bend. You can always think about spiraling heart to ceiling as well, so we're not kind of coming forwards into that stretch, we're really keeping that opening there on the ribcage and the chest. Try not to look down, if anything, kind of try and look up into that spiral. 2 more. Really creating some length in that side bend. So the next one's another one where I'm going to ask you to hold on. So one hand, like in half well, I call it cactus, don't I? So elbow level with your shoulder. Hold with your other hand onto that shoulder. This is a rotator cuff exercise. So you're just going to drop that down and then lift it back up. So it's kind of, that's why it's quite nice to hold onto that shoulder too, because you can really kind of feel it, and you can stop it kind of like moving forwards or moving backwards or dropping. Keep working with the core. So just lowering and then lifting. Nice and simple. Just the start of the new year. Keep it simple. And then to the other side, again, just holding on. Try and get the elbow up level with your shoulder. Okay, try and get the right angle between under the in the elbow. If you've had any shoulder injuries, this is quite tricky, so it might feel really simple. But actually, if you do get any shoulder issues, it's quite a good one to come back to as a reset. Think about the neck as well, so try and get the length at the back of the neck. Notice if there's any twisting, especially if you have any shoulder issues in any way. Notice if you're twisting your body in any way to do this one exercise, this isolated exercise. Are you just like, and the other thing is the wrist, what's happening with your wrist is the whole hand coming, the whole arm coming down and then lifting. Have you got any difference on each side? Let's go one more. Okay, shoulders down and back, scapular set. Now your choice if you want to put your free weights into this one now. So depending on how you feel, you could grab your free weights and put them in. I'm just going to turn the light on so I'm a bit brighter. Oh, plug it in. That might help. Just forgot to put my spotlight on. Check your shoulders are down and back. Your pelvis is tucked under. You're not arching in the lower back. Your elbows are tucked into your sides. They're not set forwards. So try and really get the alignment in there. Length at the back of the neck. And then you'll keep working with the core. Breathing out as you take your thumbs backwards. Staying strong in the wrist, especially if you put the weights in here. So we're not letting that happen. So just gripping the weights tightly. Stay strong in the forearms, strong in the wrists. Again, your pace. You can take these as slow as you like. Nice long exhales. 2 more. So then we're going to go to our squats. So feet hip width apart, and you can keep the weights in on these ones if you want. So hips back into space, put into a front raise. So shoulders down away from ears, and just take the weights forwards. Try and keep the arms straight. Squeeze the glutes as you lift. Try and get that length on the lower back, looking forwards. Keeping an eye on what's happening with the knees and the feet, trying not to let everything pronate towards the midline. Adding in, if you want a bit more arm work, you could take the circle around at the top. Breathing in as you lift. Breathing out as you come down. So if you have had any cold or flu or anything, and you're feeling tired, and you post-viral, fatigued, just don't do it. Just don't worry about doing it with weights, perhaps. Just work through your range of movement, your mobility. Three more. I gaze forwards, keeping that length at the back of the neck. Then wide legs, as wide as is comfortable. Feet can turn slightly out if that's more comfortable as well. Then take your sumo squat. Perhaps a little shimmy side to side, a little bit work into the hips. Try and get your shoulders down and back, get nice and upright in this position. Then your choice as well, if you want to put your weights in, take your big circles all the way around. Breathing in as you lift, breathing out as you lower. Try and keep your head still, your torso still, so that center point nice and strong. So you lift up and over. 5 one way, then we'll go 5 the other way around. Coming back to the pelvic floor, so pulling in. Try and go the full range on a circle, really work towards the edges. Okay, then I'm just going to put the weights down for a sec and go to those seaweed arms. So like you're in the waves in the sea and you're just letting that kind of sway side to side, and you can get really into this, kind of lift a shoulder. Your choice how much movement you want to put in. You can head down. Bend deeply into one knee as you go over to that side, so you're really kind of getting the release there in the lower back. Just a bit of free movement. Perhaps brushing fingertips down towards the floor. Come to a center point and we'll just take a forward fold stretch. So you've got your legs really wide, hold on to your shins. And you're just taking the stretch there at the backs of the legs, and think about the back being nice and straight, so your back's like a table. Crown of head stays in line with the spine, you're looking down. You're just going to take a deep breath there, feel the stretch on the backs of the legs. We're going to come back to that, but we're just going to put warrior 2 in each side. So just turn your feet on one side. We'll go one side and then we'll go back to the other. So you're in wide forward fold, just turn your feet on one side, come into warrior 2, bending in deeply into that knee. The stretch is all on the inside of the hamstrings here. Arms out to the sides. Think about this stretch on the chest. Should have your wrists just sitting over your ankles. That's my little wobble. We're trying to illustrate that. Then you could just look side to side, so work into the neck. Feel the stretch on the legs. It's almost like you're grounding down through that long straight leg and engaging, squeeze, kind of scrunching the toes a little bit on the other foot. It's a little bit of work with balance as well. Then go back to that forward fold. Again, deep stretching into the hamstrings. Maybe you're getting a little bit further into that stretch than you did it on the first time. Try and get that straight back, crown of head in line with the spine. Then literally go on the other side with your warrior 2. Twizzle the foot round. Stretch out the arms, pulling in the core, square the hips to the sides of the mat. Get the wrists over the feet, looking forwards, and then start working into the neck side to side. Get the stretch on the chest. Grounding down through the feet. You've got that stretch going down the legs. I often do warrior 2 after running if I'm outside and I've got the time. I go back to the car, I'll often put this stretch in just to get that length back in the legs. Last time, forward fold down through the center. Slide the hands down the legs. Then just bring the feet back into centre. A little bit of balance. So your choice here, if you want to take a balance beam, so one foot in front of the other, hands at heart centre, or if you want to go tree, or you want to eagle, or you literally just want to work with balance. But just see if you can close your eyes, count to 5. Whichever choice of balance you've put in. Haven't done it for a few weeks. Then release, do your heel lifts. So press down through to the ball of the foot, squeezing in the glutes. Try and get those chains working, the feet to the glutes, the pelvic floor, the brain. Shoulders relaxed. And then we'll swap sides. So again, work with your balance. 5 seconds, close your eyes. Perhaps anchor yourself through the core and the pelvic floor. Then your heel lifts. 8 heel lifts. Thinking about the core and the glutes squeezing as you go into your lift. Brilliant. Okay, single leg exercise. And I'm going to actually say to do 2. I want you to try and do 2, and I normally say just do 1. So the options are dips on the stairs, or I've got a pouffe. Don't know if you can see that. So you can do dips on the stairs or a pouffe. That was one exercise. The other exercise is your lunges. The other exercise is using a chair and sitting on the chair, standing up with one leg. So some of you will remember that one. So there's 4 exercises to choose from. The other one is single leg deadlift. So you're reaching down to the floor with the opposite hand to the foot. So choose 2 and do 10 on each leg. So you might go lunges and the deadlift, or you might do the step exercise and the lunge. I'll go through them all again just so that you, if you get stuck, you don't know which one you're doing. So you've got the steps, standing on some sort of step, and then you do a single leg dip. You touch the foot down on the step below. Controlling the knee. All of these you'll be controlling the knee. All of them you'll be thinking about lifting and sending the hips forwards and up, especially on lunges. Squeezing the glutes. What was my other option? A lunge. I always think stepping back into a lunge is a bit safer than stepping forwards. So you could just do 10 on each side straight away. Or you could alternate. Lunges are quite tricky. You have to be really careful with the knee. The knee always wants to wobble. It's quite a demanding move on a lunge. You could always take hands at the hips if that's or hands down by your sides. You can always check your ground. Going through some of the other options was the chair exercise. Sitting down on, careful with sofas. Sofas sometimes can be a bit low, so I tend to put a cushion down so that I'm not overdoing the single leg chair squat. And if balance is an issue, you can always hold on to something. You can always hold a wall or something. Don't feel like, if it feels like it's just too much of a balance, then you can always assist with that. especially on lunges, I'm just watching screens a little bit, just really think about the hips and squaring the hips to the way you're facing and then squeezing the glutes on that lift. Send the hips forwards and up. So we're not kind of letting the hips kind of drop in the centre of that move and the end of that move. And then obviously the deadlift. Reaching down, you can go both hands down or one hand down. Put a little softening on the knee if you're on a deadlift, so that front knee, don't need to hyperextend it to get the work there on the glute and hamstring. So obviously giving you a bit longer in this. So when we're done, we're going to all meet in downward dog. So if you've done 10 on each leg and you've done two of the exercises, then meet us in a downward dog. Puppy dogs as well is the option if you struggle with the downward dog. And perhaps just taking a jazz walk, so just stretching out the backs of the legs. If you haven't done downward dog for a couple of weeks, obviously because you've had a bit of time off, you can always go planks and then hinge from the hips, see if that helps create that nice shape that we're finding in downward dog. Again, just keep jazz walking, get the stretch on the calf muscles, the hamstrings. Check your hip width, or you can always go a little bit wider on a downward dog. Explore a little bit of space to the sides and then walk it back in. Spread your fingers, spiral biceps towards each other. Should be getting that stretch on the backs of the shoulders. Then we're going to bring it down onto all fours, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Try and find a neutral spine, so think about kind of what's happening with the lower back, find the core muscles. Then just take a couple of deep breaths and really expand the rib cage. So just check that you're breathing deeply. Think about widening the rib cage with the breath. Then really simple, just straightening one leg and really think about some length in that leg as you straighten. So you're on your toes, you're pushing back through that heel. So nice and long and really simple a leg lift. Like you literally are lifting it a foot off the floor and lower. It's a very small amount of movement. Straight leg. Maybe pointing the toe into it. It's a really simple glute activation. So you're just squeezing in that glute, sending the length down the leg. Eye gaze to the front of the mat. Now if you want to add in low handshake on the opposite arm to that leg, opposite side, and just take a lift and lower. So we're only really lifting a foot off the ground. Breathing out into the lift, breathing into lower. You should feel that nice little bit of squeezing there in the glutes, that length through the spine. We're working with really long levers because you're thinking about length, but we're not doing a lot of movement. Just a little bit of a lift and a little lower. Spread right through the fingers. Should be feeling the work in the glute. So then swap sides. So start with that leg lengthening. Pushing back through the heel. Engage the core. Then just take a little leg lift and lower. Nice straight leg. Thinking about that length in there. Spine nice and long. You're keeping it all still in the center. You're using the core. You could put in that low handshake, extend. Small movements. Long levers. Squeezing in the glute. Eye gaze to the front of the mat. Breathing out as you lift. Breathing in as you lower. Keeping that leg nice and long. 2 more. So going to release with a gate pose. So stick one leg out to the side. You can go back to the original side if you want. And then just sliding that side, that arm, down that leg for a big side body stretch. I'll show you this way on. Now it's really tempting. I'm doing it to try and get myself in the shot here. So it's really tempting to go forwards with that. But if you think about the rib cage and try and keep that open, breathe in and widen the rib cage, and almost think about reaching up with the hand and then over into your side bend, not forwards. Try not to let that happen. So try and stay nice and open at the top. You've got that stretch on the inner thigh. And then from there, a hamstring stretch. I said there's going to be lots of stretching today. Reach that same leg forwards instead of side. Flex the feet. Perhaps a little circle with that foot, just exploring all the angles of the hamstring. Other way around now. You might feel comfortable bringing yourself down. Try and create a straight back if you're going to do that. And square the hips to the front of the mat. So you've got that option in there as well. From there, it's a low lunge. Same legs forward. Drop the pelvis. Perhaps just placing hands on that knee, and think about this kind of widening the rib cage as you breathe in. Shoulders down and back. Getting that hip flexor stretch. Taking deep breaths. Engaging with the core. And then we'll swap sides. So we'll do those three on the other side. So it was the gate pose. Leg out to the side. Any tightness in the hips, just take a moment to let that settle. Then you can reach up and over. And again, just think about reaching up. That might be enough. Otherwise you might bring it over. If you've got that space there. Drawing in the core, so find the pelvic floor, find in TVA. Long exhales. Try not to bend, I know you can't see my elbow, but I'm really reaching my arm up. Try not to bend in the elbow. Try and really create length in that arm. Then that hamstring stretch. Square the hips to the front of the mat. Perhaps taking your circle. If you're struggling on knees, you can always do these standing. So it's another little option. You should be getting, if you do your circles as well, you get your stretch on the tops of the feet, all the little muscles in the feet. You could put in your leaning forwards if you've got that. Obviously you can see what happened there. So I leant forwards, I bent in my back, which is why I don't tend to put that in. I don't have that flexibility. So you'd only be doing that if you've got that flexibility there in the hamstring. Then your low lunge. Allowing the hips to sink down. Pulling in the core, let's get that nice opening on the rib cage, shoulders down and back, look forwards. Breathing in, widen rib cage. Breathing out to soften. Okay, so from there then, coming down on our fronts, Sphinx pose, elbows underneath your shoulders. Think about that length through the spine, so perhaps lifting up kneecaps and then dropping them down, slide the feet off the end of the mat. Think about lifting the heart, eye gaze forwards, and then bring in the deep breathing, widening the rib cage, send the shoulders down. Then if you want more, you could put your cobras in, so start lengthening the arms, look forwards, and then lowering, so take a little bit of movement, send the hips down as you lift up the chest. Perhaps finding an abdominal stretch in either Sphinx or Cobra as you send the hips down. From there then, a quad stretch, that's the front top of your leg. So your choice here, active, so you stay up in Sphinx, Press fingers into foot, foot into fingers. Passive, bring it right down, holding onto the ankle. Send the hips into the mat. Find the resistance in the quad and just exhale, so if you can soften, let it go. Three deep breaths on each side. So just swapping legs when you're ready. Again, just sending the hips down into the mat. Letting go of the tension. So coming up is either tilted bow, so holding on both ankles, or double leg kick with a tilt across. So your choice there, double leg kick, both heels come up towards your bum. Try and keep the control, try not to arch in the lower back, and then press into the arms for a little bit of a tilt across, doesn't have to go all the way over. Tilted bow, you need a bit of side either side of the mat. Holding on to both ankles. Lift up the kneecaps, lift up the chest, shoulders back, release that down, and then see if you can tilt all that to the side. So just working with what your body feels like it needs and wants. Coming down then, so forehead down, arms by your side, interlink your fingers behind your back. Breathing up, lift the head and shoulders for back extension, and then release. So lifting head and shoulders, shoulders squeezing, and release. One more, and then just see if you can do the same move, but with your arms not interlinked, just by your side. So breathing out, lift head and shoulders, you're looking down, crown of head stays in line with the spine, and then release. Then bring your arms cactus, and see if you can get to the same height, the same lift. Final progression, if you want it, is into the reach extension, and again, try and create the same amount of lift. Last one, whichever layer that you went with. Then release is going to be cat stretch, so on all fours, chin into chest. Tuck the pelvis under, get some space between the shoulder blades. Send the breath between the shoulder blades. And if it feels like it and your body wants to do some movement, you could spiral hips, you could spiral with the shoulders. Or you can just work with the stillness and the breath. Chance here if you want to take a wrist stretch, so one at a time, just fingers point towards the knee. Try and get equal weight down through the arms, the wrists. And then just switching it over. So we're going to go front plank next. So come down on elbows. You could go hips down and then lift. You could go on knees, that's one option, or if you want the full version, hips lifted. Try and create a nice straight line with the body. Keep the crown of head in line with the spine. We'll go for about 30 seconds. Big focus here on pelvic floor or TVA, so really work with the core, big squeeze. Try not to hold the breath. We're not arching in the lower back. So keep tucking in with the core. Keep breathing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, One, and releasing it down. We're going to go child's pose. So sit back to your heels. Perhaps a little sway side to side. Now I've done quite a lot of side body work, so if you want an option with your arms is just to walk both hands off the mat, and then the hand that's on the centre placed on top. Just take a stretch there into the outside of the arm, a little bit of side body still. Equally though, if you just want to work with your yogic breath and your child's pose and just focus on that, then that's fine. 4 deep breaths. Swapping the arms over if you're doing the side stretch. Okay, coming towards the centre point then. Take the time. Facing this way, just sort of resting back on your hands. Let your shoulders kind of go right the way up to your ears and then lift. So just like let them drop and then reach and lift yourself out. Just a bit like the shoulder shrugs we did in the beginning. Just working with the any tightness in the shoulders and neck. Then you don't want to be too far out, but kind of like halfway out, or you don't want to be in the hobbit position. Just allow the knees to go halfway, center, halfway. You see really gentle into it. Any tightness in the hips to just gently go in. You might want to go all the way over, but just allow the body to move. You're not staying really static. If you want to, it's twisting through the center. So if you want to, work into that twist a little bit, let it happen. Then if you want to put in a little bit more, you can put your thread through, so reaching one hand, threading it round, so you're getting this full twist through the centre. Quite nice for the organs. Thinking about the head there as well, so just dropping the chin. So you could either look up, you could put some drama in. And then really drop the chin down. Your pace as well, so you can really slow these down if you want to. It's always quite good when we do lots of twists in the class to perhaps have a glass of water when you finish. Just help with kind of any toxin release. Okay, pick a side. And then just bend the legs, almost like we're going to go clams. In fact, we'll do a couple of clams if you want. Lift the heels in line with the hips, in line with the shoulders. Lift and lower. I'm not doing loads on this, I just want to, just because we haven't for a couple of weeks we've had off. Engage the core. Just go to the point where you right, yeah, glute med definitely still works. You feel it on the outside. Then drop that bottom leg. What I actually wanted to do here was a one leg circle. So you might want to start with a bent knee. You can hold on if it helps. And the beauty with doing it on the side like this is that leg, the knee that's on the floor, can't move. Because when we do it lying down, that sometimes spirals and all the hips move. Now if you want more, straighten the leg. Think about this pelvis. So if you're tilting the whole body forwards and back with this one leg circle, then you're not holding the pelvis still. So really, maybe hand on hip, really focus on staying still in the center, pull in the core, still in the pelvis to get this one leg circle, get the stretches, the little stretches around the hip, around the pelvis working. So I think I often do this one lying down on our backs, but the trouble with that is I can't see if you're moving in the pelvis, so this will stop it. Should be getting lots of little stretches around kind of back of glutes, around hips. Last one, and release that down. Okay, side plank. Elbow underneath your shoulder. Option 1, you could just lift up the hips, knee down, elbow up to the ceiling. Option 2 is lifted with legs straight. Think about the head staying in line with the spine, squeezing in these hips to keep that lift. And try not to hold the breath. Try not to look down at the feet. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then lowering it down. We'll do those three on the other side. So we'll do a few clams just to remind ourselves. So the clams, almost like you're going to fall forwards, lift the heels, bend the knees, lift top knee and lower. Try not to be tilting in the hip, like opening like this. So maybe hand on hip, keep the pelvis still. This is preparing us for that one leg circle. And you're feeling it around the outside and the glute med. So then dropping the legs down, and then you can start with the knee bent. You can hold onto the knee and work into the circle if you're any tightness there in the hips. You could work with a bent knee into the circle, or you could go with that leg straight. So maybe hand on hip, keep an eye on this hip that's not moving around. We're keeping super still, the core's engaged. And you're probably feeling those stretches kind of going down the outside of the leg, the glutes a little bit, maybe in the pelvis here, depending on where you're drawing your circle. If you're drawing it, I mean, you can explore that as well. So you can take the circles in front of the body to the center of the body, maybe a little bit to the back of the body. I mean, I actually got my hand here where my pelvis is, just to really focus on keeping that still. This is the one leg circle. Other way around with your circles as well. Super slow if you can. Breathing in, breathing out for each time you circle. So there's lots of control. You're really working control, precision. I'm finding circling backwards a lot harder than forwards. I don't know if anyone else has explored that. Couple more. Then that side plank, so elbow underneath your shoulder. Getting yourself in line, lifting up the hips, first option. Elbow up to ceiling, try and keep that chest nice and open. Option 2, legs straight. Squeezing in the glutes, squeezing in the core. Try and keep the crown of head as much as you can in line with the spine. Keep working, keep squeezing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then releasing down. Brilliant. Okay, let's go on our backs then. Gonna go straight into our 5 sets actually. So 4 toe taps, the 8 seconds pulsing, and then the 8-second hold. I'll put it into layers in case you've forgotten what we're doing. Try and get your shoulders relaxed. Find the pelvic floor. Find TVA, imprint that lower back down. Perhaps walk your feet a little bit closer to the end of the mat so we've got right angles behind the knees. So we're working some really nice clean levers with the legs. Okay, so a toe tap, lift one leg up to tabletop. Try and keep the hips still, they're not tilting there, and you're imprinting lower back. That's 4 and 3, 2 and 1. Lift head and shoulders, pulse the arms up and down from the shoulders. So we're not like doing the queens, waving with the hands. So stay really strong in the wrists and the forearms. As you pulse, keep the tummy still. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slide your fingers to your knees. Lift your rib cage towards your hips. Hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. And then again. If you want more, just tabletop this. So we go 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready to pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. And again, 4 and 3. Try and imprint that lower back down. 2 and 1. Ready to pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you want more, teasers. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. 2 more sets. 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Ready to pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Last time. 4, 3, and 2, 1. Pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Full body stretch. Give everything a little bit of a squeeze. Point the toes. Squeeze your glutes. Pull your tummy in. Get your shoulders up to your ears. Scrunch up your fists. Scrunch up your face. Take a big deep breath in. Breathing out. Just let go of all the muscles. Completely relax. 10 seconds. And bending the knees, palms together, fingers pointing towards the ceiling, chin to chest. Bring your palms across to your bent knee and then recentering. So your shoulder kind of dips down to the side, almost like you're drawing around a bit of a semicircle as you go around. Adding in, if you want, opposite foot lengthens out on a heel slide. And keeping those hips square. They're not tilting as you heel slide. You're pulling in the core. If you want the progression, you just tabletop all of that to go into the one leg stretch. And again, just stick with the layer that you feel like you can do really well. That's where you want to be. Breathing out into the heel slide, into the lift. 2 more. Arms up to the ceiling. Just release from holding them together. Take them over the head, really slow with this. Then circle them if you've got that space around the body. If you haven't got the body, it's just over the head and back. Notice as you get the arms over the head, you're keeping that rib cage down, you're imprinting rib cage, you're imprinting lower back. You're getting that length at the back of the neck. Almost like you might be trying to make a double chin. Actually, that's how you want to get that length in there. You can press the back of the head into the mat. Choice to add in here, you could take a one leg extension as the arms go over the head. And then you can alternate with that. That's sometimes quite a nice kind of way in on this move. Or if you want the double leg, you're squeezing knees to chest, and then as the arms go over, both legs can lengthen out. Double leg stretch. Thinking about that imprint, those rib cage staying down, the lower back staying down, engaging with the core. Long exhales into these extensions, something like 8 seconds, something like that, just really slowing things down. Last one. Then arms out to the sides, bend the knees, breathing out, let both knees drop across to one side. Look in the other direction. Coming into centre, take it over to the other side. Now you could keep moving. If you feel like you just want to have a stretch here, just go over and then hold opposite hand on that top knee. And then really see if you can kind of ground through the opposite shoulder, get that chest stretch in there. So your choice, maybe if you've been really active, you feel like you need the stillness and the stretch, or if you want the movement, keep working with the moving spine twist. Two more breaths, whichever version you're doing. So you might want to swap sides if you're stretching. Okay, hamstrings again then. So a little hamstring stretch coming up. So I'm going to use the door frame, but if you want, you could put your bands in. So up to you how you do it. Whether you want to, we're going to PNF, so we're going to push into something. Otherwise, you could use your band. So you can use furniture. It always works quite well as well. So one leg up to the ceiling. Now watch what's happening with your hips. Are you lifting one hip to get into that stretch? So if you're a little bit tight, haven't stretched for a while, really keep an eye on the hips position and your back, your spine. So is there any twisting going on? Is there any kind of tilting in there? So just let's square the hips. So we're going to go about 5 seconds into the stretch. Push away at the back of the knee. And then we're going to go maybe 8 seconds relax with the stretch. But you still hold the stretch in the same position. So push at the back of the knee. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then you're in the same position, but you're just not engaging. You're not pushing away at the back of the knee, but you're still working. You're still in the stretch in a sense. But you're not activating it. You're just letting that muscle relax. And then again, pushing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, breathing out. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time. Push. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing out, release. This time you might want to move or get the leg. You might want to see if the leg will come closer to you if you've got your band. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, release. Hopefully you did get a little bit further, further in, doing that PNF like that. Other sides. Same thing, keep an eye on what's happening with the hips. You're not lifting your bum up to get into this stretch. Pushing at the back of the knee then. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing out, release, but stay with the stretch. And then again, pushing in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing out. Last time. Engage. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing out, release. Maybe getting a little bit further in. If you've got the give in there. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And release. Nice, I think we've got time. Let's do a little glute stretch as well. So go back to that first side. Just place that foot just across, just above the knee. Perhaps holding underneath, lifting up that leg. Now make sure you're flexing that lifted foot. You're flexing that foot. You're not pointing the toes there. And it's quite nice if you like it to put in a little bit of it, almost like you're going to tilt your foot over, take a balance, just go a little bit third of the way into that tilt. Just gets a little bit of a juicy stretch in there. Try and keep the back of the head engaging with the mat, shoulders relaxed. Just a nice long exhale, try and let go of the resistance. Try and let that muscle relax. And then the other side, again, make sure you're flexing this top foot. If you can, interlink. Relax your shoulders, try and keep the back of the head on the mat, and you might like to put in that little bit of a tilt. Try and exhale, let go of the resistance. Coming back to centre, then just walk your heels so they're a little bit closer. You can touch your heels, take a pelvic tilt. Treat it like a massage on the lower back. Almost like you can feel the transfer as you lift up your hips in the pelvic tilt. Your feet engage, don't they? So you notice that how your feet will take the weight as soon as the lower back starts to lift. Adding in if you want then, so taking the weight to the feet, lifting up the hips, arms over the top, chin to chest. It's a nice release on throat chakra. Then you could bring the arms down, take a shoulder squeeze, tuck the shoulders underneath, keep the hips lifted. And then you could try a jazz walk if you want, so lifting up onto the toes, stretching through the calf muscles. Just transferring the weight with the feet from the heels and then the toes. A couple more. Release the hands, slowly lowering down the hips, hug knees into chest, a rock or a circle. See if you can rock yourself up to seated position. Just checking the time on that. It's we're nearly there. Look, we've got a couple more minutes. Okay, roll back. Option here, lower back C-shaped to upright. So that's your option 1. Just work with spine mobility. Option 2, I'm going to just do like a roll over today. So you could start with holding the shins, rock it back, and then you can extend legs open, or if you prefer, just stay in the little ball. See if you can come back to that hover. Try not to let the feet go back down. So rocking over, opening if you want, coming back to that hover position, use the core. Quite a nice way to massage through the back actually. I'm really noticing it with my cold. I can feel that this is actually quite good as a way of shifting the energy in my lungs. Okay, come and face this way then, soles of the feet together. Just a quick butterfly stretch before we finish on a spine twist. Either holding onto the ankles or you can hold onto the feet, and you can do a little bit of a toe stretch, so you find there's a stretch on the arches of the feet as well if you want to. You can breathe in, get tall, get a lift on the rib cage. See if you can find a little bit more with your stretch in there, just by using the breath. So I'm going to just use this for a bit of fun before we go into the next one. This just came into my head for a bit of fun. Is to hold on to your big toe and see if you can lengthen and then come back in. So you can see if you can hold on. Almost like your foot, you've just got to you want your foot to go over there and you've just got to pick it up and take it over there. It's quite a fun little it's quite hard as well though. Legs crossed in, palms together, breathing it tall. Breathing out for it. A gentle twist. Different to anything we've done in the class. It's those long strands either side of the spine, this one. I think as you breathe in, send the breath all the way up to the crown of the head. Two more. Breathing in, get tall. Breathing out, soften down towards the mat. Namaste.